So what's next?
So this is actually one of the more popular things in the booth. So Sony Pictures Entertainment is here for the first time in many years, and they've developed a system called Atom View, ATOM, and it uses our crystal LED display, which you can see over there, to three-dimensionally render a backdrop. So that, in conjunction with our Sony Venice camera, we're able to eliminate a lot of CGI effect, because that's very expensive to do, and of course there's a lot of that. So let's go take a look. So what you're going to see here, so this is actually the Ecto-1 from the original 1984 Ghostbusters movie.
This is the screen-used Ecto-1.
This is the screen-used Ecto-1, so we keep stuff.
This is super cool to me. I actually collect movie props.
Okay.
So being able to see the actual screen-used Ecto-1 for one of my favorite movies is super cool. I work on a TV show where we discuss movies, and one of them was Ghostbusters. So this is thrilling on many, many levels. I want to thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity. Okay, so what's going on in this section of the booth?
Okay, so if you come over here, you can see. So if you look at the backdrop, it looks like a stage set. But as you see the cameras on a dolly and moving, look at the way the backdrop is changing. You can see that the whole thing is shifting in order to keep the perspective on the TVs the same.
So it's creating the parallax effect that we would get from a physical studio.
Yeah, so they do what's called a volumetric production, which means they go out with 3D cameras and they map the entire backdrop that they're using. So this is from Sony Studio Pictures lot, and so they do that volumetric capture, and then they display it on our crystal LED technology. Crystal LED, which we'll see in a little bit, is very close to our industry standard BVMX 300 color and contrast grading monitor. So what you're going to see is this shifts in order to do that. They told us that it took 5 days to do the volumetric capture of the backdrop. If you get a chance to look at the bottom, you'll see some leaves that are blowing past and the curb. Those are CGI. It took 2 weeks to do that.
Wow.
So if you can imagine, going someplace and capturing a scene and then being able to take it into a studio and have complete control of the environment. And then, of course, if we decide in 5 years to make another Ghostbusters movie, we already have the backdrop available to us. And so one of the interesting things about this is the fact that all of these, if you look at the video camera or the display up there, all of the reflections on the car, all of the lights passing through the windows, if this was a green screen, those would all have to be rendered. But because the backdrop also acts as the lighting source, all of it is photorealistic and actually the way it would be in real life.
This is amazing. I am watching the set shift. I'm watching the perspective change, the way it changes when you move a camera around a physical space, but I'm not moving. It's disconcerting. It's so realistic. Watching the hook and ladder, the Ghostbusters headquarters shift around and seeing the sign move, seeing the perspective change exactly as it would if we were in a physical space and the camera were moving, that's incredible. I mean, it looks real. My brain is completely fooled by that, and I'm standing here. I can only imagine if I was watching it through that secondary filter of a movie theater, it would be even more realistic.
There it is up there.
Yeah, that's just incredible.
Sony Pictures.
Oh, hey, nice to meet you. I'm Brian Stillman.
We're doing a live feed, Bill.
Yeah. So this is amazing. This is incredible.
We think it is too.
So where are we going to start seeing this technology? Anything coming up where we can kind of movies coming out that are currently using it?
Well, right now we're getting the software ready to launch, and it can be used in a variety of places. Hopefully you never know where it's being used. That's the whole purpose, right?
Obviously. But as a filmmaker myself, just seeing it is super cool, and being able to sit in the movie theater and go like, I know how they're doing that would be neat. But there's nothing, it's not currently in place with any productions that we're aware of.
So with the LED screens, no. Currently the same software, our Atom View technology, is being used in the TV show Shark Tank to shoot the interviews at the end of each pitch. The LED use of this technology is something new that we brought to CES. We've come up. This is like fresh out of the box, and so there are definitely potential projects that'll come up that'll use this technology.
Super cool. I mean, we're looking at cutting edge filmmaking right here. Green screen's becoming the thing of the past, I guess. This is pretty much it for them. Everyone put that green paint away. No more walls, no more matting. Oh man, saving
in front of a tennis ball.
It saves hours of work and only costs zillions of dollars. So it's perfect. What a trade-off. What a trade-off. That's awesome. And you're shooting this on the new Venice cameras, right?
That's correct.
Anything you can tell me about those? Anything you can tell me about the Venice cameras? I'm super excited about those. Not that I'll ever get to use one, but
of course,
I'm into them.
They're accessible. The Venice camera is a full-frame 6K sensor. You're able to shoot anamorphic, full-frame anamorphic as well as spherical, so you can get a full 4K output. And what's beautiful about this setup that we have here, using the crystal LED, along with the Venice, along with our HDR asset in the background there, and Atom View is able to provide a full HDR pipeline, is we're actually displaying that asset in HDR, we're capturing it in HDR on the Venice camera, and then we're feeding that live feed of the scene back to these Sony Bravia A9G OLEDs in HDR as well. So that's why we're able to maintain highlight, saturation, have all that detail in there that is exactly in the scene all the way through the pipeline.
And that's a big thing for me as a filmmaker. I'm always shooting in log. I'm using Sony Log, S-Log 3, and we have to then grade it for Rec 709 output, which for the viewers at home basically compresses the heck out of everything. Everything sinks into inky blackness. You lose those darks and lights that give everything such a realistic look, but this is continuing straight through the pipe.
Straight through the pipe, exactly. HDR, exactly. S-Log 3, S-Cam at 3.cine into the camera, converted back to PQ for the displays. But yeah, I mean, of course, you can always do a Rec 709 output as well. But but this is the benefit, right? Is you get to actually keep the yellow, the green saturation, the blue saturation of the lights, the highlight detail. All of that's captured and able to be processed through real time as you're seeing this as a real time image. So
yeah, I mean, what I'm seeing with my eyes looks exactly like what I'm seeing on the screen.
Exactly, and that is the intention. You can always make it look different if that's what you want.
Well,
but yeah,
of course. When is the Venice available yet? Is that something?
Venice has been out for how long now? Probably about a year. So the Venice is available, and many movies and episodics have been shot on the Venice. There's a fairly big feature that's going to be coming out soon that was shot on it from Sony Pictures as well as other studios.
And that would be?
From Sony Pictures, that's Bad Boys 3.
Oh man, Bad Boys 3, man. I grew up on Bad Boys and Bad Boys 2. A friend of mine actually was a shooter on Bad Boys 2. He was a Steadicam operator. When they blew up the house, he was there. So that's very cool. Great. Well, thank you so much for taking a moment to stop and talk to us about some tech that I'm excited about.